good morning or good afternoon from wherever you are. I'm Creeson Agecoutay. Welcome to APTN National News. Thank you for watching. Canada's Crown-Indigenous Relations Minister Gary Anandasangaree will deliver a historic apology to 9 First Nations in Manitoba and Saskatchewan today for Canada labeling the Dakota and Lakota people as refugees. The apology will be delivered at a ceremony at Whitecap Dakota Nation located about 20 minutes south of Saskatoon. When the Dakota and Lakota were labeled as refugees, they were not included in treaty negotiations, and Canada viewed them as being American, despite having a long history of living in parts of Canada past the Medicine Line. The Dakota and Lakota were also given smaller reserves and less economic supports than other First Nations. APTN's Rachel May is there and will bring you an update on this in our 5 p.m. national newscast. Last Friday, the government of Manitoba announced the opening of a supervised drug consumption site in Winnipeg, with the doors opening next year. It will be the first official site in the province and will be led and guided by Indigenous people with lived experience using drugs. Here's Sav Jonesa with more.
Harm reductionists in Winnipeg got some news they've been waiting for on Friday. Years of lobbying the provincial government for safer places to use drugs finally paid off.
We will have a supervised consumption site up and running in the new year.
The Manitoba government will provide more than $700,000 to create the site. Their partner, the Aboriginal Health and Wellness Centre, will lead the service, making it also the first Indigenous-led supervised consumption site in Canada. Its goal? To prevent overdose deaths and connect people to resources and support.
In Canada, we lose 22 people a day to opioid toxicity. A parent, a child, a grandparent, might be an uncle, an aunt, a friend. Consumption sites provide a supervised environment where individuals can use drugs under the watchful eye of a trained staff who can intervene in the event of an overdose.
While a location hasn't been secured yet, Addictions Minister Bernadette Smith says it will be in Winnipeg's downtown and open in 2025.
This is about, accessing primary health care, getting folks connected with services such as housing, such as EIA, counseling supports, into whether they want to get into treatment. It's not just about consumption.
Cody Guimond is a peer advisor with lived experience using drugs. She hopes the site will save lives.
It's happening way too much. I'm losing friends every single day to it. I just lost a handful within the past couple days. So I think the safe consumption site is needed right now.
Earlier in the day, Pierre Poilievre was in Montreal, where he said he would close some supervised consumption sites in Canada and not fund new ones if elected as Prime Minister. Sites he calls drug dens.
Justin Trudeau must immediately shut down this hard drug injection site, this drug den, to protect our children, reassure families, and ensure the safety of all Quebecers and Canadians.
Smith begs to differ.
We've heard strongly from the community here in Manitoba that it's something that needs to happen. We've had over 400 deaths here in our province. We have no supervised consumption site. We're coming from a conservative government for the last seven and a half years that didn't take a harm reduction approach, and we're listening to community, and this is what community has asked for.
Smith says that even if the Conservatives win the upcoming federal election, Manitoba will move forward with the site because that is what community is asking for. Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Right now, it's so far so good when it comes to the news about this year's wildfire season. Fire activity is running far behind the pace and scale of last year, according to the federal government, although predicted hotter weather in Western and Northern Canada will make an increase in fire activity very likely. Last year's wildfire season was the most destructive on record. According to a federal government technical briefing, there were 284 active wildfires recorded last Friday, with 80 of them currently out of control. According to Indigenous Services Canada, few First Nations are under threat. However, the Little Red River Cree Nation in Alberta evacuated nearly 1,000 residents from its Garden River community on Thursday. This week, rain has fallen in northern parts of Alberta, but not enough to make an impact. More than 240 firefighters are fighting the blaze.
11th, ISK is monitoring 5 wildfires which are impacting or have the potential to impact First Nations communities in British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. As of July 10th, one First Nation in Alberta has issued an evacuation order for one of their 3 communities as a wildfire is in proximity to the road leading to the community. ISK is on standby along with other partners to support all impacted communities if needed.
As mentioned, Garden River, a part of the Little Red River Cree Nation in northern Alberta, has evacuated roughly 1,000 people. Last week, a state of emergency has been called due to a wildfire 46,000 hectares in size that is 8 kilometers from the only road into Garden River. The fire is not currently threatening the community and is about 30 kilometers northwest, but high temperatures are hindering firefighting efforts. In May of 2023, fires destroyed about 200 homes and 100 other structures in the community. The company at the center of a recent cyanide spill at a Yukon mine says it might not be able to reopen. Late last month, Victoria Gold's Eagle Gold Mine experienced an equipment failure which caused a landslide and allowed small amounts of cyanide into a nearby creek. Operations has been halted since. Victoria Gold said in a statement Friday it doesn't know if it will receive the authorizations necessary to restart production. It also doesn't know if it will have the money needed to repair the site. Meanwhile, Yukon government has ordered the company to submit various plans to help protect the site from further contamination. John Stryker is Yukon's Minister of Energy and Mines.
We never want a mine that fails like this. This should not be. This type of situation is if we're not relaying how serious we think this situation is, let me just emphasize the point. It is completely serious.
We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can reach us. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. To read and watch our stories, go to aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, LinkedIn, and X. And you can watch this newscast live from anywhere on YouTube. Make sure to follow APTN News to join the conversation and follow our latest stories. Imagine your teenager enjoying a beautiful summer day and singing a traditional song outside when a rude stranger approaches to tell him to be quiet. That is exactly what happened in central Saanich, BC, and now the Indigenous community there has banded together to show their love and support for the boy. CTV's Anna McMillan reports.
A song from the heart, disrupted.
Are you just trying to fucking annoy people or what?
Oh, sorry, I was just saying.
Yeah, well, don't.
Okay, sorry.
Last night, hundreds of people cranked the volume in the capital region for the boy in that video, Kingston Daniels, and his best friend, Sylton Elliott, who was recording.
I did feel kind of anxious and scared when it happened.
Drumbeats pulse within the Brentwood Bay Village Square, where the jarring encounter happened on Monday.
I was kind of worked up after.
Now a different feeling takes over.
It just makes my heart feel so good. I'm so happy.
Our community is here for you when you need it.
The boys and everyone else here are singing for those who can't.
So many of my people have been suppressed. They've been hurt, and they've been told not to speak their language and not to sing. and that just doesn't feel right to me.
Daniels is 15 and has ties to many First Nations in BC, and Elliot is 14 from Wasanich.
I love my culture, and that's where I descend from.
I feel it's really important for people my age to learn their culture.
Kingston's grandmother knows that to be true.
My mom, who went to residential school, I went to Indian day school, so he's like the third generation. Still experiencing this type of behavior from some ignorant person.
So seeing this, kids sharing their voices and moving with the music is a source of joy and triumph.
Know who you are, know where you come from, and be proud of that.
Pride seen on the faces, heard in the songs, and felt in the drums' vibrations.
And I'm so proud of these two boys that stood their ground here to show that they're not ashamed, that we're strong.
Be proud of where you come from, right? That's our grandmothers and our grandfathers who survived. They're the reason why we're here.
Once silenced, but never again.
For the rest of my life, yeah, I'm not gonna stop.
Anna McMillan, CTV News, Central Saanich.
Indigenous youth are getting the skills they need to live healthy and successful lives. That story when we return. Stick around. Welcome back. A group of young women received some life skills training this week and had the opportunity to learn some classic meals from a well-known chef. APTN's Chris Stewart has more.
They do these things by hand. Everything's done by hand, okay?
These young women from 15 to 20 have been learning important job search support, resume writing, handling bullies. Not only that, Cree chef Ian Gladue taught them how to make fast, tasty meals from only simple ingredients. Gladue is the CEO of Mitsu, a company selling and making dry meat and pemmican across the country. He also owns Native Delights, a mobile food vending service. Over 3 days at the Institute for the Advancement of Aboriginal Women, he taught them how to make bannock, Indian tacos, and bannock burgers. Gladue became a success despite early troubles in life.
Coming here and sharing my story was really important to me. A part of that, as growing up on the streets and growing up a very tough, hard life, is, you know, some of the things we don't have a lot in our homes, our kitchens. So what can we cook? What can we do? How can we take care of ourselves with just simple foods that we have here in our own kitchens?
This last day featured bannock burgers.
Pros! You know, despite whatever you're going through, you can get through it. You can, if you just keep on pushing forward. You know, I talk about being clean, sober, sobriety, all of those things that have done for me. Connection to culture is huge. Having our own identity, knowing who we are as people is very important for us. So sharing that with them throughout here has just been a beautiful response for everybody.
Olivia Smith says she was inspired by Chef Gladue's story.
I think my favorite has definitely been the cooking, because I feel like Ian, like the person who was teaching, was really like knowledgeable, and it like really like opened my eyes, like the way he was talking, because like you can really start from like nothing and then go to like having like a multi-million-dollar business, and I found it like really, really cool.
Layla Labakan says she has learned valuable skills over the 3 days.
I've learned a lot about job searching, financial situations. I've learned how to make bannock burgers, Indian tacos, bannock. It was really fun.
The Institute has ongoing training for Indigenous women. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
A multi-million-dollar investment for Indigenous people to develop careers in shipbuilding is underway in Vancouver. APTN's Tina House has the story for us.
Here at C-SPAN headquarters in North Vancouver, BC, CEO John McCarthy is making an announcement that will provide huge opportunities for Indigenous people.
Really excited about today's announcement with C-SPAN's investment of over $5 million to the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Education and Training Center Society. It's really exciting. These funds will provide opportunities for your community members to pursue long-term careers in the fast-growing marine industry, and it's really a great pleasure to be celebrating this event today.
For Squamish Nation Council member Wilson Williams, he says he's excited to see the careers opening up for his people.
Right out there on the docks, whether it's on the ships, building the ships, or anything from engineering to office level jobs, administration, there's a whole variety here. You can see the growth of C-SPAN, you know, through the years.
20-year-old Kathleen Natrell is from the Squamish Nation. After completing electrical training through Access, she is now an electrician apprentice at C-SPAN, and she is excited for her future.
It may seem scary at first, but you never know until you try. You can't knock something till you try it. Trades can be intimidating, but personally, seeing my work come to life is just a feeling that I know I can't get that from working like in an office. I've tried it before. It's not the same.
David Hargraves is the Senior Vice President of Strategies for C-SPAN. He says this is a big opportunity for his workforce as well.
We're very honored to be on the traditional lands of the three nations, and we're very respectful of that, and we're on a journey to learn all about that. So, and part of that is the employment part of it is the supply chain part. But a big part of it is sort of just the learning and education of our workforce and of us about, you know, how can we be more respectful? How can we build relationships?
So we've come a long way in regards to building that path. They have now jumped in a canoe with us.
The training will take place over the next 5 years. Tina House, APTN National News, North Vancouver.
This year marks 15 years since the Rubaboo Arts Festival started in Edmonton. Our next guest will tell us all about what's new this year. We're back in less than 3 minutes. Over on the East Coast, St. John's 20, Charlottetown 28. Kuujjuaq 12, La Grande River 11. Val d'Or 24, Saguenay 24 as well. Sarnia 23, Ottawa 28. Timmins 24, Big Trout Lake 19. Churchill 2, Thompson 10. Gimli 19, Dauphin 19 as well. Swift Current 17, Yorkton 17. Buffalo Narrows 17, Stony Rapids 16, and sunny there. Northern Alberta, Fort Chippewa 19, Peace River 18. Medicine Hat 17, Lethbridge 25 and rain. Tofino 12, Quesnel 16. Prince Rupert 15, Fort Nelson 21. Beaver Creek 24, Old Crow 7. Wapee 19, Norman Wells 21. Inuvik 21 as well, Deline 21. Baker Lake 17, Chesterfield 11. Iqaluit 12 and Arctic Bay 9. This coming Friday, the Rubaboo Arts Festival starts its 15th anniversary in Edmonton. The 10-day-long event showcases Indigenous artists through theater, music, art, and workshops. Executive Director Christine Sokemo-Frederick joins us now. Thank you for joining us, Christine. Rubaboo is the Métis word for a hearty stew. What does the Rubaboo Arts Festival mean to the Indigenous community in Alberta?
Thank you so much. That's a great question. I certainly hope that what it means to the Indigenous people is that it is the hearty food that feeds their spirit. For us, that's an allegory or a metaphor for the arts. The arts were meant to be our participatory process embedded in our ceremonies to communicate our humanity to the Creator and to those people around us, creating a strong bond and a sense of belonging and identity and vitality and hope.
No, I love that. I love that message. What else can you tell us about the Rubaboo Arts Festival this year? What's new?
Oh my goodness. Well, we are really excited to bring in some new shows. One of the things that we love to do is support touring projects. And we have a great show called Silly Billy by dancer and choreographer Eric Pipestem from Sutana. And he's got a great show. It's about a rare white buffalo who dreams of the unicorn. So I think that show will be lovely for all family, children friendly, and just a beautiful, beautiful piece. We've got other shows if you want me to get into it.
Yeah, no, that's great pointing out some of those highlights. This is the festival's 15th anniversary. What has changed since the beginning of this annual event? How has it changed over the years?
Not only has the festival changed and adapted to the needs of Indigenous artists, but the entire Indigenous art scene has grown, and now there's just so much going on. I love it. What for us is like, we started off as a theater festival, and we learned really quickly that all the artists we wanted to work with were actually engaged in all sorts of disciplines of art. And so we opened it up, and now Rubaboo supports obviously theater, but music, dance, and circus arts, burlesque, and anything that Indigenous artists are engaging in, we want to support. We're working with some incredible video mapping and projection technicians, and we're going to be using them to create really immersive experiences in the venues that we're going to be in. I think it's going to be so wonderful. I think people will really see the breadth and the depth, the growth that the whole art scene has engaged with and felt.
There's a lot of artists on the list who are going to be attending, but who are you most excited for? Like, who is someone you've been just hoping to have there at the festival and you finally got them?
Oh my goodness. I mean, we go through that every year. There's new artists, but what I think is really fascinating for me this year is a lot of returning artists. Because it's our 15th anniversary, we've got some shows that we're highlighting that were created from some of my students. So people who had taken our youth programs, who are now fully formed adult professional artists. So Teresa Cutknife's play Talk Treaty to Me, which was nominated for 2 Sterlings. And then we also have, we've got Cody Lightning, who will come to our opening ceremonies and our special fusion event that's honoring some young artists who have passed on.
No, that's great. And this year's theme is You Are Loved. Why was that an important choice finally?
Again, it speaks a little bit to the fact that it's our 15th anniversary. We're feeling a bit retrospective, looking back at all the people who contributed to creating this festival, to having its stability, its artistry. And we wanted everyone to know we're taking the actual line from the poster that we have, which was created by the painting by J-Cat, and it has in Cree syllabics, You Are Loved. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's the poster for our festival, so that we could let everyone know, the artists, the stagehands, the marketing and publicity, the beautiful people like yourself who are supporting the show and promoting it, and then also our audiences, our Kookums and Muslims, our cousins, our aunties, our nieces and nephews, everybody. It takes all of us to make this wonderful world go round, and we want everyone to know that we appreciate everything they've given and they are loved.
Well, if it's one thing that I really love about summer, it's because we get to get outside the house and out of the office and enjoy all these great summer festivals. So Christine, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope everyone has lots of fun at this year's festival.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Hey, hey.
And that's your Monday, July 15th midday newscast. Make sure to join us in a few hours for your evening newscast, where we will have more brand new stories for you. Hi, miigwech, masicho. Thank you for watching.